So the Good Lives model is ultimately intended to be strengths-based and positive. It is intended to be collaborative and to elicit somebody's own internal motivation to change. And it's in this way that there really is a lot of conceptual overlap between the Good Lives model and motivational interviewing. It focuses on how treatment and supervision and case management can actually benefit the client as well as those around him. And this is important, it has a twin focus. One is on reducing and managing risk, while the other is on attaining a fulfilling life and psychological well-being. You see this in two little bullet points at the bottom of your screen, but in fact, those two little bullet points are highly interactive. The more we work to have a fulfilling life, the better able we are to manage the risks that we have in our lives. The better that we're managing the risks, the more able we are to have the life that we want to live. Now, I understand many of our clients are never going to have a particularly good life. Really, what this is about is trying to have the best life that you can within the circumstances that you live. Okay. So yeah, again, let's see. Oh, yes. And ultimately, the Good Lives model is intended to be integrated with the principles of risk and need and responsivity, which I anticipate questions about later on. So at the center of it all is this idea that offending relates to the pursuit of legitimate goals via harmful or maladaptive means. The underlying goals are very often not the issue if we understand them clearly enough. It's the behavior that's reprehensible and also preventable. At the same time, another assumption is that all human beings are goal-directed in one way or another. That might not be the best way to express it, but that we all have these things that we have in our lives that we seek to attain or acquire. They're called primary human goods. Again, a primary human good is an action, an experience, circumstances, states of being, etc., that individuals seek to attain for their own sake. I am very blessed to have just celebrated my 28th wedding anniversary with my life partner. And every day I am still trying to be a better husband. At the same time, as I know I will never entirely get there. So it's not just being a good husband is one of my goals. It's more a lofty aspiration. And that's one thing that the Good Lives model does try to tap into. So the Good Lives model, it proposes at least 10 of these primary human goods. I like to keep it at 10. In one case, one was split in two. And how important these goods are is going to help to determine our implicit good life plan. Some things are really important to me. I was telling Sarah, I'd say for society, just this afternoon, I am a connection-driven person. My relationships are some of the most, are as important as anything else in my life. And even more important than other things like always being a creative person. For example. But the idea here is that the more prosocially we're trying to attain these goods, the better we'll be able to reduce or manage our various risks for harmful behaviors. You hear the slight change in my language, and that's because I really believe that all of us have an implicit good life plan, not just our clients. And that fact right away makes our clients more relatable too. Even as I condemn their behavior, I'm certainly aware of our shared humanity around these goals. So about, when was it, 11 years ago now, Pamela Yates and I wrote an article in which we tried to operationalize some of the language a little bit better. And what we said is, there's primary human goods, but a lot of our clients aren't going to understand that terminology. Why don't we just call them life goals that are common to everybody? Or even good life goals. So I'm in the dual position of saying, don't forget the primary goods. And at the same time, we tend to operationalize this in the form of so-called goals. Many of us think of goal as a sort of its own form of four-letter word. Goals have their limits. But nonetheless, I think it's an important place to start. You can read the list for yourself, but the point that I want to make here is that the ones that I've just changed into this sort of tawny orangey color. seem to be the ones that are most implicated in various forms of crimes.